We're tasked with finding the rational function that has the following attributes, characteristics, properties, all the same thing. So instead of being given the rational function and we have to tell them the vertical asymptote, the horizontal asymptote or slant asymptote, the x-intercept, the y-intercept, so forth and so on, they're giving us that information and we need to make our own. So before we even get started, remember that your numerator is the top and your denominator is the bottom. Okay, so top, bottom. Because the first thing we're going to do going through all these characteristics is figure out where these things go, top or bottom. So x-intercepts. X-intercepts happen up top or in the numerator. Vertical asymptotes, that's when we take our simplified denominator equal to 0, so the bottom part. And then we have a horizontal asymptote of y equal to a number. So a quick reminder with our horizontal asymptotes, if, first case, degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator, we automatically had y equal to 0 for our horizontal asymptote. Second case was if the degree of the numerator equaled the degree of the denominator, then we had y equal to a over b, the leading coefficients, as our horizontal asymptote. Our final case was if the degree of the numerator was bigger than the degree of the denominator, then we had no horizontal asymptote. So the fact that we have a horizontal asymptote of y equal to 4/3, so we have a horizontal asymptote and it's not equal to 0, we know that our degrees are equal. So the degree of the top is equal to the degree of the bottom because we have a horizontal asymptote that's not 0. So let's go back up to the top of this x-intercept at -7. This tells us that x is equal to -7, which tells me that we have a factor of x plus 7. For x equal to 3, that gets us x minus 3. And we have x equal to 5, we get x minus 5 as the factors. Let's put these all together for our function. We know we have a rational function, which just is a fraction on steroids. Okay, we labeled where these guys go. So we said in the numerator, we have our x-intercept of x plus 7 factor, or x equal to 7. We're going to put the factors. So x plus 7 goes up top. In our denominator, we have our vertical asymptotes, which we said came from x minus 3 and x minus 5. Okay. We have a horizontal asymptote of y equal to 4/3. We said the degrees are equal. So if we check the degrees, right now, the degree of the numerator is 1, because there's only one factor to the first power. The degree in the denominator is 2. 1, 2. We can't put in any other x-intercepts or vertical asymptotes but these need to be made equal. So what we're going to do is get clever. We're going to take our function and we're going to change the degree of our numerator to be 2. But we can't add in any new numbers for our x-intercepts. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our x plus 7. We're going to say, hey, we need a 2, so you're going to be a square now. And now we have a degree 2 and a degree 2, which means that they are equal, which means that we can put in our horizontal asymptote. Remember, if it's a fraction, that horizontal asymptote is going to come from the coefficient of the top all over the coefficient of the bottom, or the coefficient of the numerator all over coefficient of the denominator. And there we have our rational function, f of x equal to 4 times x plus 7 squared all over 3 times x minus 3 times x minus 5.